Okay, so we're going to be looking at a 3-digit addition problem, and we're going to start with the estimation. So 236 plus 482, we're trying to find the sum. So we're going to round 236 to a friendlier number, which is up to 240. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side and round down to 480. This just allows us to have some nicer numbers to work with. So now we're going to break down 240 further to the hundreds and the tens, which brings us to 200 plus 40, and the same thing on the other side, to 400 plus 80. Then we can group our hundreds and our tens together. So we're going to group 200 plus 400. Now we're going to group the tens together, which is 40 plus 80. So using mental math, we can easily see that 200 plus 400 equals 600, and 40 plus 80 equals 120, So 120 is a little tricky of a number, so we're going to break that down a little further. So 600 plus 100 plus 20, which we can easily see is 720. So 720 is our estimation sum for 236 plus 482. Now we're going to be looking at the concrete method. So our first top row is showing 236 and our bottom is 482. So we can already see we're looking at the ones and we're trying to figure out if there's enough there that we can create a 10, so then we can simplify it. So there isn't, so we move on to our tens. We count and we see that there is enough. So we're going to change out the tens for a hundreds. So now when we count our hundreds, it's 7, 1 tens, and 8 ones. So it's 718. We're moving on to the pictorial, which is the same thing as the concrete, but we're not using hands-on manipulatives. So the top row again is 236 and our bottom row is 482. We're going to figure out if we can make another base 10, so then we can simplify it. So our ones, we obviously cannot because there's only 8. Our tens, we're looking, and we can because there's 8 on the bottom and 3 on the top. So we're going to take that out and we're going to create a hundreds block, which gives us 7 hundreds, 1 tens, and 8 ones. Now we're going over to the symbolic. So symbolic, we're just going to be breaking it down into simpler terms. So we're going to be breaking it down by hundreds, tens, and ones. So 200 plus 30 plus 6, and then 400 plus 80 plus 2. So now we're going to group our hundreds together to make it a little bit simpler. So we're going to group to 600, and 30 plus 80 is 110. Then we're going to group 6 and 2, which equals 8. So 110 is a little bit tricky again, so we're going to break that down again into simpler terms. So 600 plus 100 plus 10 plus 8. So then we can easily see that 600 plus 100 is 700, 10, and plus 8 is 718. So we're going to go over to my personal strategy. I really like this strategy because it's a little bit different. And as you can see, 236 is our first number on it. So lots of people would start that off, but I'm going to start it off with the greater number and then so that it's less to jump. So I started with 482, then I add that 200, then I add that 30, then I add that 6, which brings me to 718. So now my estimate reevaluation is that when I refer back to 720, I see that my difference was 2, so I was close to the correct answer.